Oh my god, that's honor bound overlays. This is dicing with death overlays. There we go. Oh, and Ryan's muted too. Wow, it wouldn't be dicing with death if there weren't technical issues somewhere. Not that we haven't had technical issues today, but
Yeah, are you kidding? This has been one of the worst. We've had to cancel broadcasts before because of technical BS, but
you know what? Honor or not about Dicing with Death is the only show I've ever had that's really had technical issues getting in the way. It's just this show. Everything else is fine.
it's a conspiracy.
Someone
They're-
hates Dicing with Death.
It's, or maybe they just want to shut down and our devil worship.
Maybe I
We're
think
too edgy over here.
I think it's that the show is so good that people feel threatened.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah. Some other
that's not
big
good.
streamers
I'll
like,
tell
oh
myself
man,
that.
this show is too good. If this show continues, they're gonna knock us out of the park. We got to find a way to take.
DDoS.
Yeah, or pay Comcast to throttle our bandwidth or whatever. Yeah. So that's my interpretation of the events as they've been.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna assume things are smooth and hop right back in where we left off.
Yeah, although I don't know if the previous VODs will be usable at all, so let's just recap what we did. We talked to a dude about property, and then I talked to some old women about property, and we poked around and discussed property in Solstice. No, in
Solstice. Yes, the cost of land in Solstice.
Yep.
Yep, you met a real estate agent or whatever, a ye old real estate agent
Yeah.
by the name of Mace Drognon or something like that.
It's not Tyrell or Windu?
No, it is neither of those maces. And now you are up in this little neighborhood to the west of the library, around a fountain, conversing with some ladies. And you had we were in the middle of that encounter that discussion when things crashed.
Yeah.
So I mean, you criticaled your charisma check. The women tell you everything they know. You get a few leads on houses that are for sale in the neighborhood.
Right.
And and they told you, or you eventually connected the dots and figured out that like these buildings are older than any of these people or any of their ancestors that they, at least far back as they can trace.
So I feel like the Sunblade owes me a favor, and this might be calling it in a little bit sooner than I would like. But you know what? Sometimes that's just the way it goes.
What would you do if I had given you a ring of wishes? Do you conserve? This is the age-old question in Dungeons and Dragons.
I would sit on the Ring of Wishes. I'd leave
Yeah,
it
I
on my
used to do
finger
that
at all
too. I
points
don't
in time. And
I don't know that we would never use wishes unless there was like specific stats that we wanted to increase.
I think
Because that's pretty clear cut how to get stat increases with wish. But
yeah, but I think I'm a little bit beyond that point right now. I don't think I would use wishes for stat increase. I think I would use wishes for like, holy shit, I'm about to die. I need to be teleported out of this battlefield, or I need full life right now, or I need my enemy dead. Or I think I would do a little bit more specific benefits. Yeah, so I would like to go. I would like to send Michelle to the Sunblade to set up an appointment between him and I, because I kind of want to keep our association limited.
that's an interesting, I don't know what you'd call it.
Approach?
Something like
Tactic?
Yeah.
Strategy?
Michelle has never actually met the Sunblade.
She has
She
not?
has seen him. She's probably been introduced to him, but she hasn't exchanged more than a handful of words with him.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting move. All right, go ahead and send Michelle to the Sunblades. Do you just have her go to the library? She's actually quite familiar with the library.
Yeah.
She spent a few solid days of studying there. She has met, she's acquainted with, you remember Gareth? He was that NPC diviner that you met in Seagate.
Mm-hmm.
He is now returned home to Solstice, where he was from. and so she has spent time with him in the library as of late. He's helped her decipher the Moonblade's spellbook, which I don't know if Qualnir ever figured out, but I mean, it's your henchman. At some point, she either relates this to you or... Anyways.
Okay.
And then there's a few... Yeah, she doesn't really know anyone else, but there are priests and a few other diviners that frequent the library. The Sunblade is often in the library as well, but he also wanders the town and sometimes even has out-of-town business. So where do you think she would start looking for him? Does she go straight to his office?
I would explain to her the way to get there. You know, go to the library, second floor, take this, go to the top.
Yeah.
You know, see if you can get an audience with the Sunblade. If you have questions, ask people on your way. When you're sure you're in private with him,
well, you can control it as it goes and act as you think Michelle would. So yeah, the usual assortment of folk in the library. A couple of other scholars browsing the library. There are the usual 2 Knights of Solstice positioned out at the front door. Mm-hmm. And the Sunblade is not in his office. She briefly searches the library on her way out and finds him amongst the stacks on the second floor.
Excellent. Michelle would approach and say, I don't know how exactly she'd phrase it, but she'd say something along the lines of, nice to meet you. We have a mutual acquaintance of mine, or we have a mutual acquaintance that would like a meeting with you.
Yeah, she's familiar with all the formalities.
Right.
And does she have an etiquette proficiency?
I believe she does. I'm double checking it right now, though. Etiquette it is 17.
All right, do you want to have her roll etiquette? So it's just a straight charisma check, I think, right?
Yeah.
But charisma etiquette
34.
So she knows more than she knows too much etiquette, enough to know that like Solstice is going to be pretty casual.
Yeah.
So she just, as long as she's not awkward about it, she can just walk up to anyone in the city and
cool.
And say fuck off, but
so she walks up to the Sunblade.
So yeah, and she's met him before, so it's not like she needs to introduce herself.
Mm-hmm.
And presume she walks up to him and assumes, or she would walk up to him and assume that he recognizes her and knows who she is, and be pretty confident.
All right, so she'll approach him and say, "Our mutual acquaintance
she's asking for?
Wants an appointment."
Okay. When and where?
As soon as you have time, I just want to keep your associations below the radar. No, radar is not a thing. Below the surface of the water.
He seems, eager to do whatever. To do Michelle's bidding. So when and where? I mean,
this evening around sundown. Over by the property that we want to buy, which she would not say the property we want to buy, but in that she would describe that location.
Mm-hmm. How about another charisma check to sense motives and all
21.
That? Oh, just barely. I guess you needed to roll a 1, 2, or 3 to fail. If I'm using 20 as the benchmark, which in this edition, unless you're house ruling, it always is.
Oh.
Or if you're doing opposed rolls. So he agrees to meet at whatever you just said.
Perfect.
But she senses that he was like ready to up and be like, oh yeah, I'll go with you right now. And then she was like, no, tonight. And he was, oh, aw, back to my books.
Oh, poor Sunblade.
So do you want to fast forward to a meeting with Sunblade, or do you have to? Do you want to do that afternoon? Okay, so that night he meets. Where he meets you at by the docks? Is that what you said?
No, at the place where we want to buy the house. That little 20-foot
Is it
area.
that small little alley? Do you have the map up?
I have the map up. Yes.
So you're talking like that tiny little lot right there on the bluff.
Yeah, on the bluff side of that lot. So
tucked in amongst the buildings is what you're going for, not one of the more secluded. Okay. I'm not sure how. I think Michelle probably would have directed him to meet in this neighborhood. I don't know if she would have been able to say, you know, that lot by the. So she'll. I mean, so do you want her to
Yeah,
flag him down, or
they
do you
said
want to
by
flag
the,
him down?
then she would have said by the well. Qualnir
Yeah.
will wait kind of on
Okay.
the cliffside
Oh,
behind
do you
that
want to
long
roll a hide
building.
in shadows, or are you trying to be discreet about this, or are you just?
I mean, it's evening. He will
There are
eventually, in theory,
there
live
are
in this
people
town.
about, and it's warm enough that like people will leave their windows open on into the evening hours.
Yeah, you know what? We might.
So there
Well,
are people
no, I
about.
don't.
I'm trying to figure out if you mind if the
No,
folk
I would
see
rather
you
be
interacting.
seen acting casually than seen
Okay.
acting suspicious. So it's not worth risking a hide in shadows and like failing it, because then I'd be clearly, someone would see me trying to sneak.
Approach him or ask him to approach you, or do you like lead him?
Qualnir waits by the
Directly.
cliffside. Michelle waits by the fountain. When the sunblade shows up at the fountain, she takes him to Qualnir.
So she eyes him from across the fountain
Yeah.
and leaves, and he gathers to follow after her, and you meet him or he meets you at this lot to your knowledge, no one sees this meeting.
Okay. Cool.
So you
So
each under the moonlight in this empty lot, tucked between two other small single-story building. Yes, both single-story buildings.
Mhm.
One long and one short. Are we zoomed in enough on the map that
Yeah.
people can see what we're talking
but not centered. There we go. Now we're good. Now we're good.
Yeah. So what is it you wish to ask of him?
I wish to ask for this land, I say, pointing to the ground. I would like to build a house and make Solstice my regular residence. However, I do not have enough capital to buy out any of the seaside locations, so I would like someone to oil the gears and okay me to throw up a house right here.
This is it? You are calling in your favor?
I would rather not, but if that takes a favor to get this done, then I pause and say, but then again, maybe this type of favor would be better. And I pull out my strip of leather from the sea wench. And show it to him.
Letter from the sea wench.
No, the strip of leather.
Okay. You're not surprised, but he smacks you in the hand with his gauntlet, or with his thick leather glove, and swipes the little strip of leather onto the floor, onto the ground.
Put my foot over it.
You
as
take
fast
1
as
point of
possible.
temporary damage. I mean, it was a hardy blow, but it's But
I
it was
try
more
and
just
cover the strip of leather with my foot as quickly as possible then. Not a fan?
He's. How dare you?
I seem to have offended your sensibilities. From where I come, these have a lot of leeway, apparently. I guess they don't reach as far north as I thought.
Your guild rats crawl amongst our gutters. I do not deny that, but
Whoa, 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 I
they
am not...
they hold no sway over my actions.
I have no...
I'm
That's not...
warden of these lands.
You may be warden of these lands, but from time to time it is nice to be able to call in a favor even with your enemy. The enemy
And
of your enemy
you-
is your friend, right? Someday you may depend on one of these guild rats to get something done for you. I seem to recall you asking me to undertake a particular journey that you wanted to keep quiet. If you had one of these, it would have been done for you and you would have owed nothing. You don't like it. It's unsavory, but it's valuable and you'll need it one day.
I am already in your debt. There's no need to bring out that southerner's worthless strips of leather. They will buy you no favors up here.
Well, in that case, then I'm calling in my favor.
Or with-
I
no
want
favor.
this section of land, I say pointing to the area that I'm in my name, with the ability to construct a house with a basement and whatever else I need, you know. I need carte blanche to construct here and to deed to the land.
All right. He removes the leather glove from his right hand and extends it bare to
I
shake.
shake his hand.
Very well then. Once this is done, I will consider my debt to you repaid.
Don't be a stranger, though.
You will be needing a geomancer, I imagine. He sort of takes a step back, puts his glove on, and starts surveying the stretch of land and removes his helm. They are not as easy to come by as they once were.
Well, a favor's a favor, right?
Well, I will secure up the legal documents, etc. Think what you would wish to do with it, but I would hate to see a ugly wooden shack put in this beautiful and ancient neighborhood.
Yeah, that's why you're going to help me find a geomancer,
Ancient
right?
villa. Yeah, he seems to suggest as such. You're not sure what he means by it or
I
what
think
geomancers are, but he...
I think the geomancers are the sand-shaping people here. I think that's what he's saying, is that I need a geomancer to build one of these pretty houses. That's my interpretation of the events. When shall I hear from you next about this matter?
Consider it done. It will take me another couple of days to get all of the ducks in a row, so to speak.
Well, when you need something, send a...
Consider it yours, and he stamps his boot on the dust.
if you need anything, send a message to... Oh god, what's that tavern's name? Oh god, I don't remember it now. To the Traveler's Oasis for Michelle, and she will come and find you.
He looks to Michelle, perhaps just a second too long, and nods and takes his leave.
Excellent. Okay. Well, that was unpleasant, and I pick up the leather and put it back in my pocket.
Apparently, the Sunblade does not respect the power of the guild.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd take it that badly. I thought he might be a little offended, but I guess when you're lawful good, you know.
Lawful good? What gave you that impression?
He runs the town and he's a good person? Law good? Lawful good? If he was anything but lawful good, I think he would have accepted that. If he was neutral good, if he was chaotic good, if he was lawful neutral, you know, I think anyone other than a lawful good character might have had a better reaction to that extension. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
But you know, again, my interpretation, not canon.
All right, so it is nighttime. You go back to your past the next day, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, let's just fast forward.
The specifics of legality aren't really important. I mean, that for all intents and purposes, the lot is yours. I mean, the law of this region has just given you a go-ahead to do with the land as you please.
Yeah.
So you assume that behind the scenes, somewhere in that library, some monk stamped a piece of paper that made it official.
Yeah.
But you never follow up on it, and yeah, it's fine. Between the break, or while we were waiting in that half hour or whatever, I was trying to find if there was anything on like cost of building castles and keeps and stuff, and I couldn't find any. I remember you used to have a book that was like an unofficial, like third-party add-on. It was like castles and what's it called? Not that it will necessarily be.
Hold on,
I mean, if I had it, I may have implemented it, but since I don't,
let me spin up my external hard drive that has that book on it.
Oh, you really do?
Yeah.
It just had. This is how we used, like, whenever you get like a fighter to 9th level and you start attracting followers. This is how we would build our keeps. And it tells you, like, you know, like how big and what, you know, do you want it to be. There was like how well furnished. You have like Spartan or moderate or like decadent palace, and it all changes how much it costs.
It is siege manual, the builder's guidebook, the castle guide.
Castle Builder's Guide. Castle Guide. It was
The
something. Like
castle guide. Well, this actually isn't a third party. It's official second edition. Both of these are
Really?
official second edition books. Yeah.
Huh.
Okay. Let me see if I can. Here we go. Oh yeah, the builder's guide is the dungeon builder's guide, which is not what we're looking for. That may be a very slow transfer because it's coming off an external drive.
Shh. Transfer of what? I don't see anything.
Well, I mean, you have the book. It's just, at your parents' house in storage, so it's totally legit.
Yeah, so your lot is maybe... It's pretty narrow. It looks like it's probably like 30 feet wide and long. It's sort of how much you want to encroach on your neighbors, how long you have.
Oh, I want to push... Oh, how long?
Like, if you go more than, it looks like maybe 85 feet from shore to front of the lot, you will encroach on the street. You may be able to go a little farther, but it'll make some people's like access to the exit of their little section of town inconvenient.
That's fine. I don't need... Well, I don't want the building to stand out as too ridiculous, so if that means it's 20 feet by 70 feet, which is kind of what it looks like it would be if I just did it the same size as the building next to me. Oh, it's only like 65.
So this is the next day. Are you inspecting the lot in person? Like, do you...
I mean, I've already inspected it. It's a blank piece of ground.
Yeah.
There's only so much inspecting that can be done.
Yeah. So it's pretty much 35 feet neighbor to neighbor. You've got about 85 feet in length. I don't know if you want to start should we start if you want to start drafting up what you, or if we should open up another Roll20 section.
Yeah, let's make a map of what I want to do with the house.
Yeah. Kidding me? Okay, I'm gonna this was, I think, Desmond's life. Let's repurpose this guy. Alright, well, let me see what the next one... Actually, this next one is totally blank.
Well, this one was, what's his name? Desmond the Dashing.
Desmond the Dashing.
Yeah,
that was where he died.
Like he lived. Not very well.
Okay.
Okay, this is a 5x5? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
need to format appropriately, and I'll give you like a little space where you can work in. Right. So we can probably just use this as is, huh?
Yeah, this is fine. You said it's 35 feet wide?
Yeah, so
10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and 80 feet long?
Mm-hmm.
10,
You can
20,
mark it
30,
out if you'd like.
40, 60, 80? Is that right?
Yeah.
I think that's right. That's 60 feet wide.
All right, so you have...
I have another.
Hold on a second.
Except we don't want it to be red. We want it to be black.
Something like that is where the shore is. I cannot get... This brush tool really confuses me, but... Oh well.
Okay, and with this length, would it actually run into the water, like on the cliff?
What I've drawn is where the cliff is.
Okay.
And I will now draw the neighboring buildings. Let me check the other map actually. But yeah, you can see what you have to work with, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, you can't just like build with that. I mean, you still haven't investigated what that geomancer thing meant. You haven't talked to. I mean, you don't have anyone to construct your house or even know what it will cost. So there's a long one that's like. So that's your one neighbor. I think that's your other.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's basically the only constraints. Aside from, but then like if you build too far out and around, you'll
Right.
impact your neighbor's front door and may cause friction.
Well, yeah. We want to be happy neighbors.
Yeah. So there's the next. There's like I think a bigger building starting like somewhere down here. Actually, probably even closer to. Something like that, and then. Why can't I move this guy?
Is it actually is that building right there?
No, I think it's like there.
Okay, cool.
I'm trying to reference that other map.
Oh man. And is this, I don't know if there's zoning districts, but like I could put up a shop here and it'd be cool. Right?
You don't know.
Okay. Investigate.
So yeah, I mean, let me know what you wish, where you wish to investigate, and all of that.
Okay, so this is what I want to build. I think I want to do a... Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I think I want to actually make it have a shop built into it to kind of cover my tracks. You know, I can sell shit out of there.
Money.
Yeah.
Sell all the magic items you find.
20, 40, 60, 80. 80 by 20 is a pretty big chunk of...
Yeah. Note there's no, I mean, there's no, like, that's the end, that's the building.
Right.
Right? The buildings are where I've drawn them. So you can decide if you want to, like, share a wall with your neighbor or...
Right.
Well, right now these are just your dreams. You still need to, I don't know, find a dwarf or something who can build it for you.
What if we did 15 by... something like that. And then a hallway like that. Have
trying to draw what I want in Roll20 is frustrating. I think the way to go is probably do maps outside of it and to import them in, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the best way is to actually draw the map in Photoshop or something.
And then just use the Roll20 to manage your tokens and things that move around.
Yeah.
So I was just like trying to fill in that water, and it was like, what is going on? The interface was not made for this. All right. So are you drawing?
I'm drawing rooms.
Oh, so you're just going to build wall to wall with your neighbors?
Fuck it. Maybe. Maybe. This
You'll
is our theory
probably
crafting.
Yeah. None of the other buildings touch, I don't think. I can double check my map. Well, there's a few. But for the most part, they give at least 5-10 feet breadth.
Yeah. So I'm thinking we have shop, warehouse, bedroom, extra room to do something with.
One floor. You have seen buildings much taller than one floor. I mean, there's a mage tower. Well, the mage tower apparently is completely empty and hollow. But there's the priest's tower on the other side that is, a tower, like several, like probably maybe a dozen stories tall.
Yeah.
The library itself is like 3. Some of the larger buildings are 2 or more.
Actually, I'm thinking maybe I do want it to be nice and skinny. I think I want skinny like this skinny, though. Like jutting against the small one.
Yeah. Maybe you should figure out who lives in that house first.
Maybe.
So why don't... I hate to interrupt your flow.
Go ahead, go ahead.
There will be plenty of this. I'm going to move us back to the big solstice map. And why don't you tell me... So it's this is the second... This is day 2 or whatever of this process.
Yeah.
Because I'll track it by how many nights you paid at the inn. So it's the next morning after you met the Sunblade and he told you everything was okay. Where are you going to...
The next morning I'm going to go investigate my neighbors. So I'm going to go knock first on the small building and then on the large building.
Okay. So I guess I'll switch you right back to that other map. Are you bringing Michelle with you or no?
Absolutely.
Okay. As a couple or as... or just like...
Well, we're there together.
So you'll go door to door together, or you won't like send her to a separate...
Yes.
Okay. See if those tokens work. You can make them a little... Oh, you actually can't make them a little bigger, can you?
No.
Or can you control your own tokens?
I can control them. Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, okay. So go ahead
I
and
will...
Where you wish to...
I will take them to this building, and we will go knock on whatever front door exists.
Yeah, so I'll draw... The front door is pretty much where you've indicated. There's a small... like, it seems customary to raise the door above ground level slightly, at least a couple of feet, and have a short stoop or whatever running up to it. A lot of the houses probably have basements. You've seen a few basement windows.
Okay.
So there's the front door. It is a maid answers. You can hear the shouts of children behind. Not worth dealing with this encounter, but it's a family home.
Okay.
The parents are out.
How many stories is this building?
It is just 1 story. Oops, I was going to measure. I'll give the family a name just a sec, but you can ask your questions. 30. Yeah, so it's a pretty small building, especially for a family with a couple of kids. 30 by 30 or so.
Yeah. Well,
Single floor. You reckon there's probably a basement. But still, pretty nice real estate, and they have a servant or whatever.
Right.
So reasonably well-to-do.
Oh, the servant.
Their name are the Rosegroves.
Rosegroves. Okay.
You're not really sure how the social structure works here. Maybe like a minor noble or wealthy merchant, something along those lines in terms of class.
Okay. Just making note.
I also labeled it on this map.
Oh, perfect. So I ask the maid if the master of the house is home.
Master of the house. Sorry, that didn't happen. No, he's not. I guess it's just the maid and the children at this time of day.
Well, my name is Qualnir, and this lovely lady is Michelle, and we are putting up a house right next to yours. We were hoping to meet the Rose Groves so that we may all flourish in this town together.
Putting up a house?
Yes.
She seems confused, but
Um,
as in
so-
like people, yeah.
if there are,
actually build here, but
if you have any need for me, I will, until the house is built, I will be staying at the Traveler's Oasis, and you can send a note for Qualnir, the elf.
she nods. You assume she remembers this?
Okay. I smile, thank her, and we together depart for the larger building.
Okay, the larger building. Let me peek at my big map just to. So there's a front door. There is a door where you are. I was trying to establish if there are where this, and there actually is there's a side door on your side of the lot. Okay. Well, wait. Did you just draw that?
I just
Yeah.
drew that. I'm still.
That was the
I'm
extra
theory
space.
crafting. Oh, is that the extra
Right.
space that you need?
No, I was just
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, that,
So
that
there
was the
is
extra
a
spot.
side door there,
Okay.
and then a set of double doors there, and there's another identical building up above it. It is an old warehouse. Not an old, I mean, it's old, but it's still in use,
Right.
like a warehouse. Yeah, there's like various workmen out and about. You're able to locate a foreman
Single
if you wish to
story?
ask him any
Second story?
questions. It's about the height of a double story. But it is single room, at least from your perspective. It's a long building. You're not. I mean, you're not like exactly exploring it.
Okay.
Like you're right now just standing outside.
But it looks like a
guess-
big, just a big ass warehouse.
Yes, it looks like a big ass warehouse. It actually looks like a pair of them. It's the other is not on this map, but just
Right.
north of it is another building built exactly like it. They look like they are matched, and I mean you can see like carts come and go from them throughout the day. Did you wish to approach any of the foremen about any of your business, or do you?
Yeah, I
Just-
approach one of the foremen if I can.
Okay, yeah, you can ask him whatever you would like.
Who, Mr. Foreman, who is it that owns this property?
Why that would be Mace. What did I call his last name?
Oh, Mace.
Drognon.
Yeah, it's Drognon. Drognon. Of course it would be. Thank you. Thank you very much. Michelle and I start to walk away. Real estate mogul. Owns half the buildings in Cinteron for now, or in Solstice for now.
Okay. Do you wish to ask this foreman anything more, or is that...
I think that is it. Well, no, yeah. I ask him, no, I ask him one more thing. That side exit on the south side of the building, is that what is that for? It looks like these double doors should take care of all your actual needs.
Yeah, we usually don't use it. I don't know. It leads into one of the side offices.
Okay. So it's an important door it's important that that door is accessible, right? What I'm trying to say is we're putting up a building, and I point to the lot right about there, and I want to know if you actually need that door, if we can just build over it, board it up.
I don't think I can give you permission to board up our door.
Of course not. Of course not. I'm just trying to see how.
What did you say your name was?
My name is Qualnir the Cunning, or Qualnir
All right.
the Elf, if you're that sort of man.
All right, then, Mr. Cunning. If you'd like, I can
No, Mace and I are
That's-
acquainted already.
chain a command.
I can speak to him at our next meeting. Okay, thank you. Now I very intentionally want to extend my building like this or something, just to fuck with their door. I kind of want to create some tension between Mace and myself, so that I can get a little bit closer to him, so that I can slowly start to take over his operations. Or, just start taking over. I can come back and actually do house designs on my own time, so we don't have to just do that on stream.
Yeah, and like I said, you don't actually know how to build a house.
Right.
You will need to hire a skilled craftsman or put up a tent. I mean, your skills are quite limited.
Right.
You're not even sure if you could put up a tent. It's harder than it looks.
It is. Okay,
So-
cool. That's it.
I'll go back to the big map. Can bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
So,
At this point,
who do you wish to talk to?
I kind of just want to wait for the Sunblade to come back and be like, hey, this is this and this and this, and here's your Geomancer. This is what you do next. I think we're just going to chill and wait for him to get his paperwork done. So we'll wait 3 days, I guess.
Okay. I mean, 3 days pass. What are you doing in this time? Do you have Michelle do any work with her spells in
Yeah,
this time? I think she can... Didn't she level last session and can re-roll her learn chances? Did we take care of that?
No,
maybe
she
someone-
did not level. No. Qualnir leveled. She still needs 1,030 experience to level.
Okay. And her spellbook is translated, so I guess there is really nothing for her to do.
Yeah. Yeah, together we're all just going to hang out and chill.
Yeah. Is everyone at full life?
No, Qualnir is wounded. He's down by 6. Well, I guess down by 5 now. Because he didn't
Yeah.
sleep one night.
So fast forward 3, gain 3 life.
Okay.
The Sunblade will never come find you.
No,
But you eventually, after 3 days, you'll eventually
Well, I asked him to send a message
see
for
him.
Michelle, if he needed
Oh
it.
yeah, that's right. You did, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So on this, let's just say the 3rd day, because you already gained 3 HP. You
Nice.
get a message. Actually, the Sunblade himself comes to. He manages to meet with Michelle. He sends a messenger boy to tell her to meet him at the library,
Okay.
and they meet, and he tells her in person. The deed is done. The lot is yours. Yeah. And he's willing to help you with the building process, it seems. I mean, you'll have to sort of ask him or tell him what you want to do
Well, I
and
do say,
let him in on your
what about
plans.
that geomancer you spoke of?
Why, yes, like I said, it's not as common an art as it once was. My priesthood once proudly, practiced the same art as the ancient ones who built this city. But these days there are not many who practice it.
So where are you
Cer-
going to get a geomancer from?
And there are none that live in the city at this time.
So from where are you going to get a geomancer?
Your Michelle voice is quite distracting.
I know, isn't it lovely?
Oh, God. Well, there are several options. We may travel to the east. Amongst the mountains, there are some dwarves that still have the skills necessary. Or we may venture down.
Down into the Underdark?
He nods. And at this, Michelle has actually spent some time in the Underdark before.
I do declare,
So she has
it has
some
been
sort-
some time.
Yeah. So she, yeah, I don't know if you would realize. I mean, it's on her character sheet. She speaks Undercommon, the language of
Yeah, I was wondering
the
about
Underdark.
that.
So if you remember, I like occasionally describe what she would do in taverns, and there were a couple times where she performed songs in languages you didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
That was all Undercommon. I mean, she played other stuff too, but
Right.
the haunting ballads on her harp were in Undercommon.
Well,
Basically, the language of dark elves and deep dwarves and that sort of thing.
when you say we, you do mean Qualner yourself and I, right?
He nods. He has actually asked her to his office, and he has removed his helm. He doesn't appear to. You've rarely seen him remove his helm in public. Like, I guess he took it off like after dark when he was meeting through the other night.
She's basically Judge Dredd, is what you're telling me.
I'm not actually familiar with Judge Dredd. I mean, I know who Judge Dredd is, but I haven't.
Dude,
like,
the
read-
new Judge
read the
Dredd film,
comics.
the Dredd, I think it was 2012 or something that it came out in. Amazing movie. Like,
Huh.
if you're gonna have an evening to yourself where you're like, I don't know what to do, just put Dredd on. That's
All right.
I'll watch that movie any time of day or night. It's fantastic.
Okay.
He's such a badass.
Well then, I
Yes,
think
he says
you would
you will-
probably
you will-
rather not be seen with us in the open, so why don't we head to the Underdark? I'm sure Qualnir would love a visit, and I would like to see my friends again.
Yeah. She probably, I don't know what she probably didn't have a great experience down there. I mean, yeah, and perhaps we'll explore it more. And
Well then,
So
I
she's-
would love to
it's-
revisit the Underdark.
yeah, it's a beautiful but terrifying place. Yeah. So Sunblade says, yeah, I have no shame for with whom I associate with. But it has been a long time since I have left the light of the sun. Could be an interesting journey. If that is your wish, milady.
We can leave today if you so desire.
All right. Can you roll what sort of proficiencies does Michelle have? I want some sort of knowledge-based check to decide how much information I give you about the Underdark.
Musical instrument, ancient history, disguise,
That's-
etiquette, dancing, singing, local history, reading and writing.
Are both the history checks the same?
Local history is blank. Ancient history is 12.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and use the ancient history? Yeah, this is certainly ancient.
I just want to figure out local history is not here. Oh, history, local history, charisma check.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Nice. Okay, so write that skill in, and why don't you do both an ancient history and a local history relating to Michelle's past knowledge and experience with the Underdark.
Okay. Ancient history.
So
here
ancient
we
history
come.
first. So this is an int based, right? This is her like ooh critical fail.
And
Okay.
local history is a 33.
Okay. So this will be totally from the perspective of her experience with the Underdark.
Right. Ancient history is
Yeah.
intelligence -1, which is 12. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Yeah. So she doesn't really know the history of the Underdark, like why it is there, or even much about, or at least useful at this point. Who's down there and what's going on. She visited one of it was actually a city. I mean, apparently there's cities underground. This is probably maybe news to Qualnir, but Michelle has known this all along. It was a great brass city underground by the name of let's call it Zixus. Zixus, the brass city.
Zixus, the brass city.
Let me. She. Yeah, the entrance that she took was east of here, somewhere in the mountains, off in the distance. You didn't really do well enough on your. Well, look, I'll show you. I'll give you a flash of the map. And explain where Michelle was in the Underdark. So this is actually just the regional map.
Okay.
But there is a mountain range. Well, maybe some dwarf shit.
Is that your personal note to yourself that you haven't figured out yet?
I think that was on the Solomon map. I mean, like you'd heard in character that the mountains to the east were dwarves.
Okay.
But you never actually went there. So it was always maybe some dwarf shit. But so in this mountain range, somewhere, she's not exactly sure where she went in. She was like guided by a drow, a drow companion. So somewhere in here, there was an entrance and actually an exit, somewhere maybe up further north. So the entrance, exit, I'll put like a little crude X or something like that, because she's not exactly sure where it is.
Okay.
Yeah, so she spent probably about a year there.
Okay.
Underground, and came up and eventually traveled to Solstice, and left from Solstice to the south. Oops.
Okay.
So those red X's are where possible entrances to the Underdark are. But right now, we are back in Solstice. And so does Michelle go back? Actually, did you say leave right now? Right now?
She said we can leave today if you are ready.
Okay. And is Qualnir...
Qualnir's ready to go.
He's a few HP down, but he's just like...
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
I mean, he's down by 2. Doesn't even matter. His first hit will replenish the HP he's lost.
Okay.
He'll be okay.
Alrighty. I think let's take a break, and then we'll move on with our journey. Our journey into the Underdark. Okay. We may even get to bash some faces in this episode.
We may. We will be right back then, guys. See you guys from the other side of the break.